as events unfold and change by the minute. And as the days go by, we watch as our leaders cope with relentless march of this virus and disease. I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you for joining us, and now to the news. First, U.S. President Donald Trump said he will announce guidelines for reopening the economy on Thursday, with the possibility of reopening some states before the deadline of May 1st. This was during his daily press briefing at the White House on the coronavirus. Take a look.
Great signs of progress, and new cases in Houston and New Orleans are declining. The battle continues, but the data suggests that nationwide we have passed the peak on new cases. Hopefully that will continue, and we will continue to make great progress. These encouraging developments have put us in a very strong position to finalize guidelines for states on reopening the country, which we'll be announcing. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. We'll be having a news conference tomorrow sometime during the afternoon. We're going to be announcing guidelines, and we'll be talking about various states, and it's very exciting. We'll also be speaking to America's governors tomorrow, and then we'll be announcing exactly what's happening. You already know we'll be opening up states, some states much sooner than others, and we think some of the states can actually open up before the deadline of May 1st. Not all states are the same. They're very different. Some are having very little problem. Some have done such a good job that they have very little problem, and they're ready to go. So Vice President Pence and I will be speaking with the governors tomorrow.
Millions of Americans have lost their jobs due to the lockdown measures, and unemployment numbers are at record levels. Retail sales dropped by 8.7% in March, the biggest decline since tracking began in 1992, according to government data released on Wednesday. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump also threatened to adjourn Congress to allow him to appoint officials whose nominations he claimed were being blocked by Democrats in the Senate. He accused the Democrats in the Republican-controlled Senate of stalling the nominations of several top administration officials whose appointments require Senate confirmation. The Constitution allows a president to make what are known as recess appointments when Congress is not in session. Take a look.
There are currently 129 nominees stuck in the Senate because of partisan obstruction. Many are nominated for vacancies that must be filled to assist with the coronavirus crisis and the resulting economic challenges. And I've read over the couple of years, well, I didn't fill positions. I don't fill positions. In some cases, we don't need the position, and I'm all for that. But in many cases, you do, but we can't get them approved by the Democrats. They won't release them. The positions include the Director of National Intelligence, 2 members of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, the Assistant Secretary of Treasury for Financial Markets of the United States, and the Undersecretary of Agriculture responsible for administering food security programs. And Sonny Perdue, who's going to be speaking today, is saying, please, can I have this man, can I have this particular person approved as soon as possible? The Senate has left Washington until at least May 4th. The Constitution provides a mechanism for the president to fill positions in such circumstances. The recess appointment, it's called. The Senate's practice of gaveling into so-called pro forma sessions where no one is even there. The recess provisions. The Senate should either fulfill its duty and vote on my nominees, or it should formally adjourn so that I can make recess appointments. We have a tremendous number of people that have to come into government, and now more so than ever before because of the virus and the problem. We have to do it, and we have to do whatever we have to do. If the House will not agree to that adjournment, I will exercise my constitutional authority to adjourn both chambers of Congress. The current practice of leaving town while conducting phony pro forma sessions is a dereliction of duty that the American people cannot afford during this crisis. It is a scam, what they do. It's a scam, and everybody knows it, and it's been that way for a long time. And Perhaps it's never done before. It's never been done before. Nobody's even sure if it has, but we're going to do it. We need these people here. We need people for this crisis, and we don't want to play any more political games. I've been waiting for 2.5 years.
As some European countries begin to relax lockdown measures following weeks of confinement introduced to halt the spread of the coronavirus, the World Health Organization has warned of a potential second wave of COVID-19 infections. In an update to strategic advice to governments issued overnight, the UN Health Agency called for greater support for health services. Without it and other measures, including testing for infection, the premature lifting of physical distancing measures is likely to lead to an uncontrolled resurgence in COVID-19 transmission and an amplified second wave of cases, according to the WHO. To date, Austria, Denmark, Spain, and Italy have relaxed some lockdown measures. Among its recommendations, WHO said that more should be done to identify those with mild disease symptoms, not just the severe cases. The development follows an appeal for greater solidarity in combating the disease from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Now, in a statement supporting the UN Health Agency on Tuesday evening, as U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he was stopping the funding for the UN Health Agency WHO pending a review, Mr. Antonio Guterres, head of the United Nations, or Director General, appealed for greater unity. Take a look.
With the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have deep concerns whether America's generosity has been put to the best use possible. The WHO's attack on travel restrictions put political correctness above life-saving measures. Had the WHO done its job to get medical experts into China to objectively assess the situation on the ground and to call out China's lack of transparency, the outbreak could have been contained at its source with very little death, and certainly very little death by comparison. This would have saved thousands of lives and avoided worldwide economic damage. Instead, the WHO willingly took China's assurances to face value, and they took it just at face value, and defended the actions of the Chinese government, even praising China for its so-called transparency. I don't think so.
In a statement issued last night, the Secretary General reiterated his belief that the World Health Organization must be supported, as it is absolutely critical to the world's effort to win the war against COVID-19. He also made clear that once more that once we have finally turned the page on this epidemic, there must be a time to look back fully to understand how such a disease emerged and spread its devastation so quickly across the globe, how all those involved reacted to the crisis. But now is not that time. And as it is not that time, it is also not the time to reduce the resources for the World Health Organization or any other humanitarian organization that is working in the fight against the virus. As he has said before, now is the time for unity and for the international community to work together in solidarity to stop this virus and its shattering consequences.
Staying with COVID-19, although countries that have experienced very large outbreaks have started to see a slight deceleration in the number of infections, the number of infections has not yet peaked. That is according to the WHO in Geneva. Let's listen in.
Some of the very large outbreaks that we're seeing in Spain and Italy, we're beginning to see a slight deceleration in cases. It's going to take time, but yes, they're seeing a slowing. Other countries, we're still seeing an increase, like Turkey, like the UK. So it's a very mixed picture. And the overall world outbreak, 90% of cases are coming from Europe and the United States of America. So we're certainly not seeing the peak yet.
9 in 10 cases are in Europe and the United States. World Health Organization data shows, with Spain and Italy seeing cases rates fall after dramatic spikes in the number of people falling sick. Since the new coronavirus emerged in central China in December, latest data from the WHO indicates more than 1.8 million cases and over 117,000 confirmed deaths, with 213 countries, areas, or territories reporting infections. Meanwhile, thousands of shops have reopened in Austria as it seeks to ease restrictions brought in to stem the spread of the coronavirus. Take a look.
Das Einzige, also wir bedanken uns heute zum Beispiel bei Kunden mit einem Nachlass, wenn sie nicht ihr Budget quasi schon online ausgegeben haben. Eine andere Hoffnung habe ich nicht.
Ich finde das ganz toll, weil die Geschäftsleute wollen ja auch von was leben. Und eins nach dem anderen, es ist halt so, man muss sich damit abfinden. Und ich hoffe, es geht dann für alle bergauf.
I'm glad about it because I'm living in Vienna now and I'm street artist here, opera singer on street. I sing on the street.
And some shops reopened in Venice as Italy begins to ease some of the lockdown restrictions, allowing bookshops, laundrettes, stationers, and children's clothing retailers to reopen. In certain hard-hit regions, local authorities have prolonged the restrictions. Take a look.
Ho comprato tanti libri, sì, avevo bisogno, come una dipendente, da qualcosa, da una sostanza, sì, ho comprato tanti libri, alcuni da regalare, alcuni che mi mancavano, di cui avevo proprio bisogno.
Quindi noi ci siamo organizzati nell'orario di apertura con una fascia oraria dedicata agli anziani o comunque alle persone a rischio, una fascia oraria dedicata solo a loro in maniera tale che loro possono frequentare la libreria in totale sicurezza, una persona alla volta. Anche se noi qua possiamo ospitarne 4, in quella fascia oraria loro entrano una alla volta.
Italy allowed bookshops and children's clothing retailers to reopen on Tuesday, but some business owners chose to stay shut, fearing it was too soon to lift the coronavirus lockdown. Laundrettes, as I said earlier, and stationery shops were also permitted to reopen as the government sought to gradually lift stringent lockdown measures imposed on March 9. Italy is one of the world's worst-hit countries, with more than 20,000 deaths, the second most after the U.S. The pandemic and lockdown measures have crippled its economy and brought daily life to a standstill. Most of the country's 60 million people have been confined to their homes, and most shops other than pharmacies and supermarkets have been shut. Though the central government said some shops could resume work, officials in hard-hit northern regions, including Lombardy and Piedmont, refused to resume business. Shops there would stay shut until May 3, when the countrywide quarantine is set to expire. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization's European office said on Thursday that despite some optimistic signs in some of the countries worst hit by the new coronavirus, the number of cases was rising and approaching 1 million in the continent alone. Let's listen in.
We remain in the eye of the storm. When we put proven measures in place, ensuring that we can identify, isolate and test all suspect cases and quarantine and monitor the health of all close contacts, providing care to those who need it, together with physical distancing measures if necessary, we can stop the virus in its tracks.
Opening the 2020 spring meetings today in Washington, D.C., the International Monetary Fund, IMF's Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva has outlined the difficult economic environment countries are now facing because of the COVID-19 epidemic and her global plan of action to take it on. Take a listen.
It is a crisis like no other. In scope, we are now in the worst recession since the Great Depression. We are experiencing a 3% contraction of global GDP, and 170 countries are going to see income per capita falling versus what we expected 3 months ago for 160 for them to go up. Making sure that our financial system continues to function, it matters. And what we have seen is central banks providing ample liquidity, $8 trillion of fiscal measures. So our message is spend as much as you can, but keep the receipts. We don't want accountability and transparency to take a backseat in this crisis. It is really difficult time for everybody, but in particular, it is difficult for countries that already stepped into this crisis with complex challenges. The same way the virus hits people with existing preconditions that are more vulnerable, the hardest, it hits economies with pre-existing difficulties the hardest. We are telling everybody, do all you can. And I just want to assure you that we are following ourselves on our own advice. Everything is on the table in terms of measures we can take. What we do is first do all we can with the resources we have. Second, make sure that there are no gaps in what we have to be of service to the membership.
Eagle News will be right back.
The Bulacan Bulk Water Project is a treatment facility that will provide bulk water to the 24 municipalities of Bulacan to meet the increasing water demand of its residents. Through concessionaire, SMC Infrastructure also initiated the significant improvements of the Manila North Harbor Port, the country's busiest port.
This program is co-presented by Kubert Industries Incorporated, Electromechanical Trading and Services, The Cooling Expert, Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, Masarap, Mabango at Healthy Pa. Canrid Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, color for protection for your home. Matimco, Matimco is wood, wood is Matimco. Our Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer. DN Steel. EMAC, UPVC Roof Corporation.
All right, welcome back. Australia will retain restrictions on public movement for at least 4 more weeks. That and other updates from our EBC correspondent in Australia, Alyssa Ventura. Hello, Alyssa.
Hello, Alma.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm pretty fine, thank you.
Okay, what are your updates for us, Alyssa?
All right, we are bringing you the latest updates on the COVID-19 crisis in Australia. According to the Australian Department of Health, as of 3:00 p.m. today, 16th of April 2020, there has been 6,468 confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in Australia, up by 21 new cases within the last 24 hours. New South Wales still holds the highest number of recorded cases at 2,897, followed by Victoria at 1,301 and Queensland at 1,001 cases. Out of the 6,468 confirmed Australian cases, 63 people have died from the disease, and more than 380,000 tests have been conducted nationwide. The Australian government has released relief packages and support to those who are greatly affected by the current COVID-19 restrictions. A new higher education relief package was released to support those workers who have been displaced due to the COVID-19 crisis, to help them in upskilling or retaining, and to also help higher education providers and universities to continue providing education. The government will also provide another $3 million to provide support to frontline healthcare workers in training and providing information about treatment of COVID-19 patients. On a positive note, Alma, during a press release this afternoon, the Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, has announced that the current coronavirus restrictions will remain for at least another 4 weeks. He has stated that for these restrictions to be lifted, 3 measures must be put in place. These are extensive sentinel surveillance in the testing regime, greater contact tracing capability, and increase in local response capability. That's it for now in Australia. Back to you, Alma.
Okay, so you seem to see this in a positive light, an extension of 1 more month. How come?
It's just although the restrictions are a bit strict here, people are keen to go back to their normal routine, as I've seen from everyone else as well.
All right. Also time to rest and catch up with other things, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Alyssa, and keep yourself safe and always stay healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alma. This is Alisa Ventura from Queensland, Australia. We live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, over in Japan, health officials in Kanagawa Prefecture have apologized after the authorities there said an elderly woman has tested positive for coronavirus, preventing her family from being with her during her death. Now, let's find out what happened here. We have more from Dennis Liu. Hello, Dennis.
Hi, Alma. Good evening to you and to all our televiewers. Right, for today's current news updates in Japan, Kanagawa Prefecture health officials apologized after they incorrectly claimed that an elderly woman had tested positive for the COVID-19. This human error prevented her family members from seeing her at the time of her death. The woman was living in the home for the elderly facility. The officials said she died from an illness not related to COVID-19 at a medical institution last Wednesday. After prefectural officials held news conference last Wednesday, they found out that samples were mixed up during testing at the prefecture's Institute of Public Health. The prefecture acknowledged their mistake after the medical institution raised doubt that a wrong sample had been identified. The institute extended their apologies to the woman's family. The head of the institute said he is deeply sorry for the mistake that robbed the woman from the chance to spend her final moments with her family. He stated that the institute will further examine the root cause of the mistake and they would take steps to prevent this from happening again. Meanwhile, Sony Japan, with other big companies from various industries that are making medical equipment for coronavirus patients, plans to assist in the production of more ventilators. While Sony uses its facilities to make ventilator parts, their factory in Aichi Prefecture would produce digital cameras, as the company plans to work with a medical equipment maker An additional supply of more than 1,000 units will be made available for use from the beginning of July. Nihon Koden, a medical equipment maker, says it will ramp up ventilator production capacity at its factory north of Tokyo. This plant could boost the output from the current 30 units a month to 1,000 over the next 6 months. The company says it would obtain components from other partners and automotive.
Now, for those people who are identified by the barangay captains and the mayors who are violating the quarantine, pasensya ho kayo. Help would not... kung gano'n may pera pala. So, kulang na kulang, ibigay ko na lang talaga sa yung nangangailangan at wala nang mapuntahan. The thing is, you must not reduce the population into something like they are hopeless. And alam mo, itong mga nagbabatikos naman, there will always be a time for everything. And I hope that the next time, apang magsabi ako, maniwala kayo. Kasi po ako sabi, walang politika, hindi na po ako makatakbo. First and last ko to. And then but for the sake of the country, I will identify yung mga Pilipino na walang ginawa kung hindi magbatikos, maghanap ng mali. Para lang may masabi at marinig sila ng mga tao. Yan ang iwasan ninyo. Yan yung naglalaro ng politika. At for so many years, ilang taon na sila nandyan, puro posturing, forma, choy, pretty boy. Marami yan. So may mga babae rin na yak-yak ng yak-yak, wala namang ginagawa. Sa panahon nila, puro corruption. At mamakalinis. Kung ko kayong makinig dyan, dito kayo makinig sa gobyerno. Total, ako ang nagdadala. I'm telling you, we're doing everything honestly. Hindi kami humahawak ng pera. Marami mga milyonaryo nagpunta, nagsabi, magbigay ng tulong, ipapadaan sa, alam mo na. Siyempre, para malaman ng presidente, talaga nagbigay sila. Sabi ko, hindi ako nagtatanggap ng pera. Idiretso ninyo yan doon sa ospital. Do not, I'd like to, this is also maybe for the information of everybody. Do not come to me bringing money. I do not accept. Ayaw kong humawak ng pera. Kasi ayaw kong magkwenta. Pag siningin ka balang araw, saan yung ayaw ko ng ganun. Gusto ko wala. Para pag natin na panahon, sabihin ko, kaya mo dyan, ano bang hinawakan ko? Gaya ng itong mga komunista, mga left, intelligence fund, hangin yan. Kukuliktahin yan. Tapos pagdating ngayon, itong budget na ito, yun ang guide natin, paano gastusin, saan nakolekta natin. Pero wala tayong pundo na paghati-hatian natin yan. Yung savings, iba yun. Yun ang ginagamit ko rin. Pag maubos yan, then we start to borrow. Pag wala nang naubos na yung pautang, then we sell the assets of the government. I hope that this dilemma that we are facing now will end soon. Lahat naman tayo nagdadasal eh. Ako, I seldom pray. Believe me. Bihira ako na medyo, hindi naman nakaluhod. Nakaupo lang sa kama. Tapos, calling the Almighty God to have mercy on His people for all mankind. Kasi ipit tayo. Wala na tayong ibang nasa kanto ka na eh. Wala ka na ibang matawagan. Hindi mo matawagan kung ano, mga eksperto hanggang ngayon. Nagbubungo na kung paano nila gawin ang vaccine. But, sabi ng ang bakuna is about 2021. Ang bakuna. Pero yung ibang medisina, yung mga killer antibodies, nandyan na ata. Pero yung bakuna which would give us a permanent immunity sa sakit na yan, wala pa. So itong killer, baka pagkatapos you are not careful, babalik rin. Now ngayon, bakit ayaw mo lang baski piecemeal? Sabi kasi ng mga experts, hindi naman ako expert. Hindi ako abogado, hindi ako doktor, abogado ako. So nakikinig lang ako sa mga doktor, lalo yung mga doktor na bright, na may sinasabi sila na if you lift the quarantine hastily, baka ang sabi ko nga yung first, second, and third wave, hindi ko nga alam kung nasaan tayo. Nandiyan dito ba tayo sa first o second? Kung nakinig kayo sa akin the last time, maintindihan ninyo yung salita ko. Kung hindi nakinig, wala akong magawa. Hindi ko na balik-balikin dyan. Mapayag naman ho tayo sa makalabas kayo, makabili ng pagkain to survive. But kung sabihin talaga ninyo na gutom na walang pagkain, hintayin lang ninyo, paalamin lang ninyo ang barangay captain. And I'm sure that we would have the food that needed to be on the table. Kaya ito ngayon ang sitwasyon. I'm just asking for your disiplina, konti. Kasi pag ayaw ninyong maniwala, mag-take over ang military pati police. I am ordering them now to be ready. Ang police pati military ang mag-enforce sa distance, social distance at yung curfew. Sila na, parang martial law na rin. Mamili kayo. Ayaw ko. Pero pagka naipit na yung bayan at walang disiplina kayo, hindi na bali sana kung hindi kayo maniwala sa akin, no? Wala manampaki. Hindi mo tayo kaibigan, hindi tayo kapartido, ayaw ninyo sa akin, hindi, okay lang. Pero ngayon, anumang partido mo, o anumang kulay mo, sumunod ka. Kasi pag hindi, ang kaharap mo sunod, ang militar na pati polis. Yan ang ano ko. Ngayon, kailan? Kailan talaga ngayon? Pero alam ko, even before the vaccine, which yung isang malaking Johnson & Johnson, sabi nila that they are almost a mile away, 2021. Yung iba naman nagsabi that kung matsambahan nila, baka matsambahan nila, may medical studies na sila, clinical studies. Kung yung binigyan nila ng 50 persons, lumusot lahat na may COVID, baka swertihin tayo. Swerte yan ng kumpanya, swerte ng tao sa mundo. Ngayon, ang ating total, kita mo ang ating total, it's 5,660. Ano na lang kaya kung hindi tayo nag-lockdown? Dikit-dikit kayo sa MRT, nakatindig, nakapatabi, mag-ubo. Ano na lang kaya yung sa mall? Ano na lang kaya ang mangyari kung yun sa palengke? May mga palengke dito, okay lang. Survival to, pati kakain. So people will have to go to the palengke to buy food. Isa-isa na lang, magsakripisyo ka ng isa, huwag naman kayo lahat lumabas. Magsakripisyo ka lang ng isang tao sa pamilya ninyo. It could be your husband. Pero yan lang, pagka nagkasakit, at least isa lang. Isa magsabay kayo lahat. Baski doon sa bahay, huwag kayong, lalo na kung may ubo, i-isolate mo na siya. Kung isa lang yung kwarto ninyo, di doon siya sa kanto. Maglagay kayo ng kumot dyan, latag mo dyan sa lugar niya para at least yung ubo niya, dali naman yan. Yung buong panyo, lagyan mo ng alcohol, doon mo ibuga. Okay na siguro yan. Yung wala nang iba na kwarto ninyo muna, ilan lang alcohol, mura. At least you can afford it. Sabi ko nga, kung ano lang, kamay-kamay lang, walang problema yan. Maglagay ka lang ng drum dyan, puno ng gasolina. Lagay mo lang yung kamay mo dyan. Patay na yung... But these are things which we think that we'll have to resort to. In extremis, yung wala na. Ngayon, ang maganda nito, kasi 5,660 cases, ang 435 naka-recover. Ang 362 patay. Yan lang sa Pilipinas. Ewan ko sa probinsya, I do not have maybe this is yung data dito is all over the Philippines. Kaya hindi ko masisi yung anak ko na pati ako. Akala ko nagbibiro. Nung una sabi ko, uwi ako. Tapos sabi, tumawag kay Bong. Sabihin mo kay Mayor, kaya hindi ko siya papayagan mag-landing. Siyempre, kung puntahan mo yung tower, tapos sabihin nga, huwag mong palandingin yan, wala tayong magawa. Yung tower, hindi magbigay ng go signal for you to land. So ulitin ko yung nahuli. Yung nahuli na pinaglalaruan ninyo yung pera ng gobyerno, intended to help you. It's not na lahat kayo kinukundin ako. Probably there are about 80% na pero yung 20% mga tarantado talaga. Ang problema, kung yung pamilya na yan, yung asawa, kasali sa 20%. So, magsusugal ako ngayon. O para sigurado, ang pera hindi masugal, hindi ibili ng alak, katarantaduhan. Yan, alam mo sa totoo lang kung maharap mo ako, maniwala ka hindi, sapakin kita. Totoo lang. Ngayon kang lumaban ka, pasensya ka. Ganun talaga. Pag may ibigay ako na pera tapos na, pati yung mga pulis mahuli ko magpiat-piat dyan sa estasyon. Tagdalawang suntok yan. Maglilinya yan. Kakakala mo yaman ninyo, susugal kayo. Kulang na nga ang pera, buti yan, dublado na, isugal pa ninyo. At saka yung mga gagong pulis na sasabungan lang palagi. Wala na nga pera para pang pamilya, baldasin pa ninyo sa mga bagay ng inuman, sugat. Kaya sabi ko, maabutan ko kayo. Maniwala ka, taga mo sa kung saan mo itaga yan. Sa bato, sa tubig. Talagang sapakin kita. Ngayon, mag-away man tayo kasi masaktan ka. Di ikaw. Ano gusto mo? Buti magkaintindihan tayo. Hindi ako napagtapang-tapangan. Lahat naman kayo matapang eh. Hindi nga ngayon natatakot na mahuli na inuman sa labas, nagsusugat. Kung ang tawag mo dyan, kung hindi, ano yan, kung hindi katapangan. So lahat tayo, parang inyong katapangan ninyo, letse, mga puro mo kayo ulol. Ang kasi dito kasi na yung assistance and kung kunin ng inyong asawa, huwag ninyong ibigay. At kung awayin kayo, hampasin na ninyo ng tubo sa paalamin mo ako. At sa kayong mamatay ngayon, sabi ko nga, huwag kayong mamatay ngayon. Kayong mga matigas ang ulo. Kasi pag namatay ka at nalaman ng gobyerno na positive ka o galing ka doon sa ospital, hindi na kailan na ospital ka, positive ka lang, kukunin yung katawan ng patay mo sa ayaw mo at sa hindi, that is to protect the greatest good for the greatest number. So kukunin yan, susunugin yan. Sa ospital, mamatayan, hindi ka man makaakyat doon, ikarga ng, tapos ibaba doon sa morgue, tapos balutin, ikarga, tapos diretso na sa crematorium. Hindi mo na makita. Walang burol, bawal. Pagka-COVID, bawal ang burol. Ngayon, kung malaman yan, kukunin yung patay sa harap ninyo, yung kabaong, ibalik na lang sa inyo, balik mo doon sa punerarya, kasi yung katawan, susunogin talaga yan, para talaga yan sa lahat. The greatest good for the greatest number. Gobyerno lahat, hindi kayo makapili ng crematorium. The procedure as outlined by the Department of Health, hindi sa amin, masunod talaga. Ito namang may-ari ng crematorium, may I ask you to maintain yung presyo ng cremation before ante-quarantine. Ibig sabihin, yung presyo na wala pa tayong problema, yun ang ibigay ninyo. Nakikiusap ako. Total negosyo yan eh. Kumikita kayo ng pera, sunusunog yung katawan. So, ngayon, kung taasan ninyo yung presyo, tapos iiwan ko yung patay dyan sa inyo. Sabi, sunog, magkano, ito. Tapos sabi ko, huwag niyong taasan ninyo. Tapos magsabi sila, tawag sa akin, Mayor, ayaw man, dito yung presyo nila. Sige, iiwan yung patay dyan. Iwan niya sa hagdanan nila. Bahala na sila niyan. Saka itong hospital, alam ko delikado. Alam ko in ordinary times talagang unreasonable. But I said we have a crisis and it's killing people. Ngayon, pag sa ospital, wala kayong kwarto na segregated for COVID patients because doon sa ibang hospital sa ninyo gustong dalhin, mahirap yan. You better, pagka ganon, maghanap kayo ng kwarto dyan sa labas, ilagay ninyo yung pasyente doon. Or, bahala na kayo. It's up to you to maybe really hatiin mo yung isang ward, tapos sirahan mo at institute the measures to protect the people, including the health workers. 9 hospitals ang nagtanggi. Mahirap ito, maghanap ka pa ng Tagalog. There are 9 hospitals who refuse to accept patients. And therefore, we are calling, not after the COVID crisis, but I'll be asking today the Department of Health to start the investigation. And I'm sorry, but, there are rules to be followed. And when you begin to the rules, yan ang ganun tayo, kakaproblema tayo. Hospital kayo, you are the sanctuary of the sick. You do not choose the ailment of the patient you are accepting. It is not just simply not within your power. Morally, kaya maghanap kayo ng paraan kung how to deal with the problem because you are a hospital. But sabihin mo na papasukin mo, mahawa natin, then that's a problem. You might want to start asking questions, build a tent there somewhere, doon muna ilagay, then you can determine, and I'm sure it will not be unreasonable. You're also trying to protect everybody in the hospital, including the sick patients. So I can understand. You can build a makeshift thing, plus tent or what, and you can do the investigation there. So at a distance. But whether or not it is really enough, that is your problem. You're a hospital. So kung hindi mo kaya maging hospital, sasarahan na lang kita. Why pretend to be a hospital when you are not a hospital? Because you cannot choose the patients that you have to attend to medically. I hope I have made myself very clear on this. Also for the doctors to take note of what happened to the patient, because questions will be asked later, and he will be in a position to answer correctly. Yung tao na hinuli, you have to, I know that the police, military, and everybody else, for that matter, just want also to enforce the law. But kung yung tao naman nakita mo and you are satisfied with the explanation, kung magdala ng karot saan niya nakuha para pakain sa pamilya, sabihin mo saan siya nakatira. And kung hindi na wala namang sakit, for the police to ipasa na lang. Kung taga Tondo, ganun, ihatid mo sa boundary, tawagan mo yung police doon, na ihatid din nyo kasi nakatira siya dyan sa Tondo, kayo na maghatid. And let the barangay captain inform him of the situation, that there's a guy here, family was not eaten for. Tulungan na lang natin. I'm sure if you bring this to the attention of the Mayor Moreno, and every mayor for that matter, no mayor could ever also bear to see his constituents die of hunger. So I'd like to remind everybody that whatever we do here, there has to be a humanity in it. It's not a question of enforcing the law. You have to take into account the humanity angle. So, kaawa naman. Konting tiis lang, sabi dito, kunting tiis nga, ako mismo, sabi ko sa iyo, 3 birthday. Ang masakit sa akin kasi ang nagbawal sa akin mag-land ang anak ko. So, sa panahon ito, kung ano yung pinapaira nila na batas, wala akong magawa. Because they're trying also to protect the people of Davao City. It might be a very noble gesture, but it can sometimes be cruel. Because people from the outside cannot enter Davao. Maybe you are allowed to leave, but to enter, wala na, pati yung mga bus galing Bukidnon, North Davao, Del Sur, Occidental. A lot of those residents may mga anak, nag-aaral. Ang problema, may lockdown. And you know, I have to admit it. This thing about sequestration or quarantine is a cruel action by the government. Hindi madali ito. Pati ako nasasaktan. Problem is, kung magdikit-dikit tayo uli, palabasin mo kayo lahat, magsakay na naman kayo ng train, lalo na marami ng puntahan kasi ilang araw na bara. Magdikit-dikit na naman tayo, isang ubo lang, haros yung, kasi kung hindi ko nilockdown ang Pilipinas, no? Kita mo yung mga bansa na, hindi naman, I don't know if it's, kaya bangan din ng mga nila. Ayaw. Dito tayo ang nauna sa Asia. Tayo talaga ang nauna sa Asia. Maybe, hindi naman ako nagyabang. Maybe because I was really talagang kinumpleto ko yung pagka-mayor ko para maalagaan ko kayo. Sorry, I'm not given to use the word president. Kaya sabi nga nila si Duterte, hindi presidente. Tama, hindi ako presidente. Kung anong asta ko, mayor. Bunganga ako, mayor. Lahat ng galaw ko, mayor lang ako. Ngayon, kung may standard kung paano gagalaw ang presidente, wala pa akong nakita. Walang guideline, paano magdamit, paano maswerte na. Wala. Pero ito yung, ako yung si ako. Ako. So, hindi ako nananakot. Kasi wala naman akong nananakot ako na mahawa kayo. Kasi sigurado patay. Paski sa bahay, huwag ka lang kayo magkadikit-dikit palagi, lalo na may isa o dalawa lumabas. You just try to keep a distance. Ano naman na hindi ka agad but most importantly actually is that you have a mask that is an effective thing. Huwag yung mask na nakalaylay tapos makapasok yung binuga mo na virus o virus para protektahan mo na. Tiis ang ano dyan. Kalbaryo to actually. Ang nakita ko lang na tapos na yung paghirap niya si Yesu Cristo. Kasi dumaan na ang Biyernes Santo, Sabado de Gloria, Sunday nabuhay na siya. Pero tayo parang patay ngayon. Ewan ko ba kung itong ating universe, isa lang tayo sa billions, no? Hindi ko talaga masabi kung bakit ganito ang nangyari sa atin. Sa bahay, mag-mask kayo. Siguro naman na may namigay na ang pagkawala. Maghintay kayo because talagang biglaan ito all over the world. Yung kanilang patay is maabot na ng 25, maabot na. Araw-araw, ang patay nila is the other day sa America, I think was 2,000. Mahirap pero. Buti tayo ganito na. Dahil nga sa hindi akin yan, ha? Baka sabihin mo, napakahusay ni Duterte kasi nag-lockdown. Ang may sabi niyan, yung mga doktor, hindi ako. Hindi akin itong social distancing. Itong distance rule. That's not mine. Hintay lang kayo. Sabi ko, pag nandyan na yan bukas, may mga ano na yung iba atat na rin yung gusto nila ilabas yung kanila antibodies na. Wala ng proseso, antibodies na. Yan, yung iba, usually magkuha ka kasi ng doon sa patay, kunan mo ng dugo niya, i-inject mo doon sa kabayo. Yung kabayo, kaya niya ng yun ang inject mo dandahan sa kabayo rin. Huwag naman bigla, kasi magka-COVID talaga, biktima yan. Dahan-dahan lang, handang ma-immune. Pag marami ng antibodies yung kabayo, doon na kunin yung maraming dumaan na yan ang kabayo. Ngayon ang kagat ng ahas. Kaya sa Mindanao maraming ahas. Pero hindi ko alam na karamihang kubra lumipat na dito. Kita mo nagdadaldal. Yan ang mga kubra. Walang ginawa kung hindi maghintay magkagat. Just to be able to open hair of his mouth. Para sabihin, alam lahat. Tanga may mga tao dyan na sa Kongreso. Lahat. Na baski anong topic, may masasabi talaga. Oh, gano'n yan eh. Magdagdag. Kaya ayaw magpaiwan. Sabi ko, there will always be a time for reckoning. Dating ng election, sabihin ko sa inyo, kung sino yung tao na dapat pili. Pumili kayo ng baka may next COVID. Kikita mo naman kung sino-sino sila. Ano ang nagawa? Ito lang tanong ko. Dumaan naman kayo. Ano ang nagawa ninyo para sa bayan? Yan. Pag sinabi ninyo ako wala, okay wala, ay kayo. What have you done for the country except to talk and criticize and talk? Pilipino naman, nakikinig ka dyan sa Babasa ka dyan sa mga Facebook. Tapos pagdating ng panahon ng kamatayan ito lahat, bagsak ka na. Then you look to government for support. So yan lang ang maibigay ko sa inyo. Kung ano niya gusto, kwentahan ko kayo sa anong gusto ninyong kwento. Wala nga. Not in the last generation, even during the war. Sabi nila, matatanda. Ngayon lang talaga nila nagkaroon ng experience na ganito. Tako tayo sa bahay. Sabi nga na isang smart alert, paano natin malabanan yung COVID, Mayor, kung nagtatago tayo sa bahay? Correct ka. Yun ang misteryo ng COVID. Nakatago ka na at gusto mong mag-away. Ang awayin mo, magtago ka. Diba? Magtago ka dahil mahawa ka. Gusto mong labanan, o sige, labanan natin. Paano? Magtago ka. Ganun rin. Ang China, kasi nagsunod, sa UB, saan galing yung doon nag-umpisa itong contamination? Okay na. Nag-lockdown sila 59 days. Nung isang araw, binuksan nila. Maligaya na sila. Sumunod eh. Kasi wala na silang positive. Not one of, not even one sa population. So, sunod lang tayo, baka magkaroon rin ang mangyari para magpasalamat tayo. Again, I said, I know it's hard. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, gusto ko na lumabas kayo. Alam mo bakit? We are running low. Low as in low yung ating supplies. Sabi ko nga, we cannot feed you wherever hanggang kamatayan. Hindi ka naman paggamot lahat ka agad-agad. Ilan lang ospital. Wala man ang hospital na libo eh. Kaya we had to go for yung makeshift hospital for the numbers. At yun namang mga may-ari ng mga buildings, mga hotels na who so generously gave, offered. One day I will maybe go to you and thank you personally for helping us. In the meantime, mga kababayan ko, kunting panahon na lang. Kung may access kayo sa internet, nandyan lahat, nilalatag na nila kung ano. So, wag na yung vaccine. Itong mga killer antibodies na lang. Kasi kung mabili yan, in mass production, mabigyan ng quota yung Pilipinas at sufisyente, I will lift ang medisina lang kailangan ko. Pinapatayan. Hindi dahil sa katawan natin, kundi dahil sa injection. Kunting panahon lang. Kunting tiis na lang talaga. Nakikiusap ako. And besides, we are running low sa supply. So we are negotiating again now. If we can have, we can borrow. Kasi yung may sabi mo na $500 million, part of that really is to control COVID. So, may mo talaga yan. Hindi mo pwede gastusin yan sa infrastructure. It's intended just for the human being. So, dadating rin yung panahon yan. In the fullness of God's time, the antibodies and the vaccines will come. Maraming salamat po.
This program was brought to you by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world.
Ang susunod na programa ay